Dot istiyor. Çevirdik. Elin mücadele kızıştı. Ve bir yanlış pas kapıyoruz. Balic nefis bir ara pası. Haydi Ercüment. Haydi Ercüment. Haydi Ercüment ve gol! Sezonun ilk golü Bursaspor'dan. Yeni sezonun ilk golü Bursaspor'dan. Yeni transferden Ercüment'ten. İsviçre'den transfer edilen Ercüment beklediğimiz golü 7. dakikada kaybetti. 7. dakika Bursaspor 1-0 önde. Evet, Bursaspor 1, Wimbledon 0. Hem de İngiltere'de. İşte golün tekrarı. Balic'in olağanüstü akıl dolu pası. Ercüment'in atağı. Ve kalecinin yanından 1-0 Bursaspor öne geçen golü atıyor. İşte Balic'in güzel pası. İşte Ercüment'in defansın arkasına sızan atağı. Ve işte muhteşem. Çizgi üzerinde Şaban verdi. O Tuncay'la oynadı. Tuncay'dan bir uzun top. Tehlike. Bir kafa. Ve ikinci gol. Muhteşem bir gol. Muhteşem bir gol ve Ömer'den geldi. Sürpriz işte Bursaspor birincisi mutlu oldu. Nefis bir kafa golü. Ve kaleci Cheswright hayatının ilginç golünü yedi. Bakın işte Tuncay topa adres veriyor. Sonra Ömer, bakın kalecinin koltuğunun altından filelere gidiyor. Şimdi Levent, hatta Ercüment. 1'e 3 yakaladık. Bu gol olmalı çocuklar. Ercüment bir çalım daha. Gol geliyor ve geldi. Gol geliyor ve geldi. 3. gol. Her şeyi bitirdi Ercüment. Rakip için tabii her şeyi bitirdi. Bursaspor'da böyle sevinecek doğdu taraftarını. Evet, Bursaspor 56. dakikada maçı 3-0 yapıyor. Ercüment'in 2. golü. Bursaspor'un 3. golü. Bravo Ercüment. Yanıltmadı kimseyi. 3'e 1. Bakın bunlar gol olmalı. Nitekim de oluyor. İşte Ercüment nefis bir çalım. Kaleci Cheswright'la karşı karşıya ve rahat bir gol. Söylüyordum, Wimbledon'un ikinci evde o hızlı başlayan ümitlerini böyle söndürmek lazımdı. Her şey bitti. İşte nefis bir pas küçük Levent'ten. İşte bu çalım mükemmel. İşte bu vuruş akıllıca. Topun başında Tuncay. Hakan, Adnan da orada fırsat alıyor. Balic var. Balic'e doğru bir kafa ve dışarı. Gol. Hayır, gol. Evet. Dileğim tuttu. 4. gol. Hayır, Balic değil. Mesut golü atan. Mesut tribüne gidiyor. Balic yanında zıplamıştı ama Mesut kafayı vurdu. İşte 4. golü izleyelim mi derken adeta dileğim tuttu. Ve 4-0 oluyor karşılaşma. Evet, bir zafer böyle noktalanıyor. Bir güzel zafer böyle noktalanıyor ve Bursaspor İngiltere'de İngiliz takımına, birincilik İngiliz takımına, Wimbledon'a futbol show yaptı. 4 tane.
Turned up to watch, but those who were at Selhurst Park won't forget this game for a while, especially those across from southeast London. Dean Holdsworth's goal was straightforward enough. Charlton's equaliser from the on-running Peter Garland offered a big clue to the defending and the goals to come. The star of an extraordinary game was a player described by the Charlton manager Alan Kirbishley as the best teenage player he's ever seen. 18-year-old Lee Bowyer was just beginning his night's work. There were 20 minutes remaining when Marcus Gale flicked on a corner and Dean Holdsworth picked up the pieces for his second. Yet 5 more goals would follow. Wimbledon had to attack. Robbie Earle's enterprise and persistence took him into the penalty area, and Wimbledon had recovered the lead. Enter Bowyer, whose future in the game was threatened when he failed a drug test last season. It's a distant memory now. Carl Lieben put himself about to rough up the Premiership defence. Bowyer's shot hit the bar, but bounced over the line. Two minutes later, Vinnie Jones failed to close down Gary Nelson on the Charlton left. Wimbledon failed to clear. Charlton led 4-3, and Bowyer had completed his first ever hat-trick. It got even worse for Wimbledon. When Kim Grant, the substitute, received the ball wide on the right, not many would have backed him to score, but it was that sort of match. Grant dashed into the area, and Charlton led 5-3. Still the scoring hadn't finished. From the remnants of another Wimbledon corner, Kenny Cunningham made a break for it down the right. Andy Clark drove the ball in. A great win for Charlton, but they know there's still work to do. They won 3-1 at Swindon this time last year and still went out in the second leg.
Just some of last night's action, and still to come we have a special report on Wycombe Wanderers' match against Manchester City. But Ian, 9-goal thriller there at Selhurst.
Yes,
extraordinary, wasn't it?
It was extraordinary, the colours they were wearing, because normally Charlton are in red, aren't they?
Yeah.
And Wimbledon in blue.
Yeah.
And I mean, what were they doing playing in?
They're the
in
crazy
those
gang, Ian,
eh?
you know. That's why they call them the crazy gang, you know.
Crazy for the watching public. Yeah. I mean, I was looking at it thinking, you know, they're doing well, aren't they?
Yeah. I mentioned, Gabriel Clark mentioned in there about this boy, Lee Bowyer.
Yes.
I mean, he does look very special, doesn't he?
Well, that's 8 goals this season already for him, and I mean, it's pretty...
Welcome back to our Coca-Cola Cup evening. Our look at last night's exhilarating action begins at the Valley, where Charlton and Wimbledon, having scored 9 goals between them in the first leg, carried on where they left off. Reporting, Gabriel Clark.
Wimbledon arrived at the Valley with a point to prove and a defence to shore up. Vinnie Jones had never known a spell like it. Just 4 games, but 14 goals conceded. Tony Yeboah managed 3 of them, and so did another remarkable player, Charlton's teenager Lee Bowyer, whose career was almost derailed by a positive drug test last season.
What happened to Lee Bowyer? I mean, if you'd have said it was so-and-so at the club got caught for drugs, I'd have gone, yeah, I can see that one. But not Lee. You know, he loves football so much that he would never do anything to jeopardise it. And it was a big blow to him. And I don't think he's ever going to recover from the stigma of it. But obviously, football terms, he has.
Stopping Dean Holdsworth figured strongly in Alan Kirbishley's team talk. Holdsworth had scored twice in that amazing 5-4 first leg. And the Wimbledon boss, Joe Kinnear, and the gum-chewing godfather of the crazy gang, Sam Hammam, knew much would depend on Holdsworth maintaining that form. With a goal to make up, Sam wasn't sitting too comfortably once the game began, but then he never does. If Wimbledon's early ascendancy was predictable, then so was Vinnie Jones' arrival in the referee's notebook. His collision with Jamie Stewart didn't impress ref Paul Durkin, who'd seen an elbow. Apparently it belonged to Jones. For the 5th time this season, Vinnie would see yellow, and the case for the defence was quickly dismissed. Soon after, Wimbledon's back 4 were treated with equal contempt by Charlton's 2 wide men. Number 9, John Robinson, worked himself some space, but where was the marking as Sean Newton dashed in from the right? 1-0, 6-4 to Charlton on aggregate. Wimbledon had work to do, and within 10 minutes, Holdsworth had turned a half chance into his 3rd goal of the tie. Suddenly, there was the same ebb and flow about the play that had conjured up 9 goals in the first leg. Just a minute into the second half, Wimbledon had tied it up. Holdsworth nearly scored. Robbie Earle from right on the line did. 2-1 to Wimbledon, 6-all on aggregate. And the balance of power had shifted back to the Premiership side for the first time since they scored the opening goal at Selhurst Park. Just to make things even more interesting, one of the floodlights then decided to take the rest of the night off. The teams were able to play on, but it was out of that gloomy darkness that Robinson emerged, tricking his way past Cunningham to conjure up a chance for Carl Leaburn. 10 minutes for Charlton to hold on, but they couldn't manage it. Robinson found defending against Cunningham a little tougher. Now the end-to-end excitement would be stretching into another 30 minutes of extra time. Dean Holdsworth doesn't miss penalties. And after 2 games and 14 goals, the side still couldn't be separated. Fittingly, it was Bowyer and Robinson who combined for the decisive goal. The teenager's pass read beautifully by Robinson. 3-all, 8-7 on aggregate to Charlton, who go forward to round 3. Wimbledon don't, and that's why a desperately disappointed Joe Kinnear is now threatening major changes to his side.
15 goals. The 15th goal decided it, and it was a super goal as well, wasn't it?
Absolutely wonderful goal.
Oh, it was a classic.
Now this
goal.
involves this young lad Lee Bowyer again, doesn't it?
Well, you know, I haven't seen him live as yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing him. But everybody's telling me, you know, what a player he is. So, I mean, some magnificent football. Look at that ball there. Wasn't that a super ball? But what a good finish, too. You know, out, just lifted it over the goalkeeper, bent it in the corner. I'm delighted for Charlton because, you know, they've got their lovely little ground sorted out now. They're getting, you know, good gates, and they've got good young players. Let's hope they can keep holding on to them, you know.
Alan Kirbishley, the manager.
Well, Alan's saying he doesn't want to sell any players. And really now, as I say, they've got all the things sorted out with the stadium and everything else. And they've been battling in the last few years, getting nearly there. This could be their year to get
Different
promotion.
story for Wimbledon, Ian. Joe Kinnear saying, because he's had a lot of patience with his lads, but he's actually saying time to chop and change maybe.
Well, maybe the crazy gang have been together, a lot of them, just too long. And again, maybe it needs a bit of a shake-up there. And Joe's a man to know that. He'll know what he can do.
Famous old club, an award-winning new stadium, and a team turning back the clock. Promotion into the Premiership as realistic a target as a place in the last 8 of the FA Cup. Well, striker Andy Booth wasn't born when Huddersfield dropped out of the old First Division 24 years ago, but 43 goals in a season and a half are helping to reawaken this sleeping giant. And 2 familiar names in Huddersfield's lineup. Number 5, Lee Sinnott, played for Watford in the 1984 FA Cup final. And number 8, Lee Makel, who made half a dozen appearances in the Premiership this season with Blackburn. Wimbledon are seeking their second FA Cup win in the space of 5 days, with the same team that beat Middlesbrough 1-0 in Tuesday's replay, with Mick Harford again asked to fill a role in midfield. Referee Paul Alcock of Red Hill. And the last time Huddersfield reached the quarter-finals was the same season that they dropped out of Division 1 and subsequently fell as far as Division 4. But the rebuilding is well underway, and Wimbledon will be in for quite a scrap this afternoon. Cowan to lift this first throw deep into the penalty area. Bullock comes underneath it. Darren Bullock, and his mark is Rowe. What a dream start. And what a mistake by first Chris Perry and then Neil Sullivan. The Huddersfield trainee, whose career here nearly came to an end, he got free of Chris Perry and then he poked it right through the legs of Sullivan. Koku. Harford let it run to Cunningham. Holdsworth at the near post. It's a good flick on Gale. Well, they're continuing to carve 1 or 2 chances, the Premier Division side. And Dean Holdsworth, they're one of the substitutes, been out for 15 games. They don't look too worried at the moment. Kimball will take it. Leonardson hits it very well. Cracked off the woodwork, and that's as close as they've come. The Norwegian international came initially to Wimbledon on loan, and then the move became permanent. He'd beaten Francis, but didn't wake the woodwork. Harford into Gale. They're just not able to get the ball to the front players at the moment, Huddersfield. Ikoku. Well, that's a great ball in by Kimball. Harford stretched. Didn't make contact. And still they're a goal down, Wimbledon. Well, he hasn't yet scored this season, Mick Harford. But he steered that one very well. Now, Huddersfield at last managed to break out. Here's Reed. Rowe comes out of the middle. Dalton's header. Well, he smiles, he met it quite well. Well, it's ruled out. Paul Alcott standing his ground, and the linesman on this near side decides that Ikoku must have been offside. Cut back by Dean Holdsworth. Well, he seemed to come from an onside position, but of course the linesman always has the best view of it. Made room for himself. Ikoku, shot was blocked, and again, and blocked a second time. Huddersfield continue to live very dangerously, and here's Booth, gets away from Reeves. And it was Chris Perry, the other centre-back, who got in the telling tackle. And maybe Andy Booth has been told by his manager at half-time to be just a little bit more direct. We didn't see much of the quality which has brought Premier scouts here in number. Makel wasn't well directed. Neither was that. Reed. Booth brings Makel back into it. Here's Rowe. Gale put it out, so Huddersfield have the corner. Well, Wimbledon have needed replays in each round of the Cup so far. They drew away in the third round and the fourth round at Watford and Middlesbrough, and then won each of the replays by 1-0. Holdsworth back to help. Oh, that's a great header! Huddersfield lead by 2-0, and would you believe it, it's the left-back Tom Cowan. What on earth is he doing popping up there? A real stunner for Wimbledon, and a super goal. He got airborne early, and he redirected it perfectly. A player who they signed from Sheffield United. He spent 3 seasons with Rangers up in Scotland, although he was never a regular choice for the Rangers' first 11. That's his 3rd goal of the season, and what a corker. Leonardson, well, that was the chance to knock the confident smile off the face of Huddersfield. Again, Wimbledon do everything but score, and surely Leonardson should have done. And as an immediate response to that second Huddersfield goal, it couldn't have been better timed. Well, Huddersfield have been in the quarter-final of the FA Cup only twice in the last. Leonardson. Andy Clark. Ikoku! They've pulled one back. And the surprise really is that it's been so long in coming. They've had so much pressure, Wimbledon. And Ikoku with that goal in the 65th minute. So it's going to be a test of Huddersfield's resolve over these last 25 minutes. It's the first goal they've conceded in just over 4.5 games, and now Joe Kinnear much more agitated. They're searching balls. Harford knocked it down for Leonardson, and it's another one that's gone over the top. Again, there are 5 to look for in the penalty area. Andy Clark's one of them. Over the top. Harford! Well, Wimbledon will pile on the pressure. Here's Leonardson, well struck. It's stuck. That was the important thing for Steve Francis. 1 or 2 have squirmed away this afternoon. Had to be put out of the FA Cup, or are they? Ikoku. They certainly won't go down without a fight. Ikoku trying to make room for a cross, and he has. It's over Francis, but fortunately for Huddersfield, it's over the attackers too. Kimball. Earl's waiting. Architect's loose. What a desperate scrap. And listen, the cheers as Dunn brings it out. Well, he's adding plenty of time. We're into a third minute of stoppage time. Well, there were two quite long breaks for injuries to Huddersfield players. Here's Leonardson. That's Bullock, goes in powerfully, but he's conceded a corner. Well, your heart will go out to Huddersfield if they concede a goal here. No disrespect to Wimbledon, but they're so close to the glittering prize. There seem to be more attackers than defenders. It's in! Ikoku! Oh dear! Well, you have to say credit to Wimbledon, really. There was nothing left on the clock, and they just put virtually everybody into that penalty area. There were more red shirts than striped ones. And Francis came, and there were just too many players in front of him. He didn't get it. Defender on the line got a touch, but it was up into the roof of the net. And after 2.5 minutes of stoppage time, Wimbledon have taken the scoreline to 2-2, and as they did in rounds 3 and 4, look as if they forced a replay, and they won the other two against Watford and Middlesbrough. And Huddersfield's dream afternoon, well, it's still an achievement surely at 2-2, but it might have been so much more. And there's the final whistle. It's a heartbreak afternoon. They scored early in each half, Huddersfield. Credit to Wimbledon, who kept them under pressure throughout the 90 minutes. And in the end, it was that pressure that told. It was just a corner too many, really. And Wimbledon pushed everybody forward, everybody but the goalkeeper, it seemed. And Ikoku's second goal of the match gives Wimbledon a draw that just didn't seem likely.
And Earl comes in. Steve Clarke was in front of him, but he couldn't stop the ball going in the net. Well, it's 20 minutes left on the clock here at Stamford Bridge, and Chelsea are fighting to save their lives in the FA Cup against the team that always seem to manage to thumb their noses at their supposed betters, Wimbledon. But this is wise for Chelsea, and in comes Furlong up the post. Hughes! The equaliser comes from the 3 times FA Cup winner, off the post from Furlong, and Mark Hughes, in his distinguished career, has never scored an easier goal. Wise. There goes Spencer. Cunningham's with him. Now then, was that the pass to the goalkeeper? Yes. Yes, the referee has decided. Graham Poll has given the indirect free kick against the goalkeeper Sullivan for picking the ball up when it came off Cunningham. This is a tight decision. Dennis Wise arguing about the 10 yards. Ruud Gullit looks as though he might fancy the ball being tapped to him. Gullit, deflection, goal! 2-1 to Chelsea. It hits somebody on the way in, there's no doubt about that. And what's equally certain is that Chelsea are in front. But Wimbledon have a free kick, taken quickly. And here's Holdsworth, and it's in! It's there! It's 2-2! And Chelsea weren't ready. The defenders were standing waiting, and nobody realised that Wimbledon were thinking so quickly. Within a minute, minutes of Chelsea taking the lead. The match is back in the balance. That Ruud Gullit is fit to play. He's shaken off a flu virus, and his presence may well give Chelsea a boost. Failed a fitness test on his gashed ankle. Lee is back in defence. Craig Burley is now restored to fitness in midfield. Spark surface is bound to cut out. Steaming up in support of him too. And Gullit goes in. Oh! And he can cross it now. Vinnie Jones is there. Oh, good ball. It's Petrescu from Burley's pass. And Chelsea take the lead. The Romanian Dan Petrescu. It's trying to keep supporters off the pitch. Similar ball again. And Petrescu again. Penalty. Brought down by Kimball. Oh, saved by the goalkeeper. Petrescu can't get the rebound. And Sullivan is a hero after all. Robbie Earle. You cannot give Gullit possession like that and expect to get away with it. Ekoku. Goodman! It's there! Typical Wimbledon. Big cup ties in the past. This is taken quickly by Chelsea. Spencer. Dewberry! It's there! Chelsea are in front. Chelsea, here's his second, and what a good leap. It's still Gullit. And it still is, and Hughes! Well, a cup tie of this importance would hardly be complete without a goal from Mark Hughes. But how well made by this stylish Dutchman. Ruud Gullit goes away from the tackle by Perry and puts it really on a plate. Hughes brought it down. And the FA Cup 2 years ago, when they went on to the final, the European semi-final last year, and now the second goal headed by Michael Dewberry, only 20, who was on loan to Bournemouth last night. But Chelsea in the end proved the stronger team.
Victory over Notts County ensures that they get the trip to Derby in the fourth round. It didn't take long for Notts County boss Sam Allardyce to realise that a tough night lay ahead. In fact, it was just 24 minutes when Dwight York's shot cannoned off defender Gary Strodder before rolling cruelly into the net. 8 minutes into the second half, Sasa Čurčić, who had been dropped from the team, claiming his move from Bolton was a mistake, seemed to be making all the difference. It was his pass that released York for his second of the match. The Villa striker looking like a player who's back to his best form. The third on 67 came from a Tommy Johnson free kick that was simply too hot to handle. Hugo Ekeog picking up the pieces. It's now Villa versus Derby in today's fourth round clash.
Opponents know all about the threat that comes from Watford's Devon White. He's been around for a dozen seasons with half a dozen clubs, and the experience hasn't been wasted. Good control for the goal that put Watford ahead. Similarly, students of Graham Taylor's teams won't have been surprised by what happened here. Devon White's flick on this time. David Connolly's finish. Simple, economical, effective. They still don't know if it will be Brentford next or Manchester City.
On Tuesday night, just under 5,000 people braved the cold to see Wimbledon struggle against Crewe. It took just 12 minutes for this familiar set piece to give Robbie Earle his 8th goal of the season. Nevertheless, the Dons will be glad that this one's out of the way. Their second half goal came so quickly, it never really allowed Crewe back into the match. Robbie Earle reverts from goal scorer to goal maker as he sets Øyvind Leonardsen on his way. But just who gets the final touch is debatable. Dean Holdsworth is the man who's claiming the goal.
These two have to try again at Burnden Park this afternoon for the right to a fourth round home tie against Chesterfield. Good combination between Jamie Pollock and Nathan Blake produced the first goal. Luton looking very much the side who'd played only once since Christmas. But with the metre fast running out and goalkeeper Ian Foyer upfield, Marvin Johnson squeezed in the equaliser in stoppage time. An unlikely cup hero, he averages approximately 1 goal per 50 games.
Very tantalising fourth round cup tie. Wimbledon must have been uplifted when they saw the names on United's team sheet at 2 o'clock. There's no Pallister, May, Johnson, Beckham or Butt. 19-year-old Michael Clegg comes in as a right wing-back, with Gary Neville moving into central defence alongside 21-year-old Chris Casper, who played with him in United's FA Youth Cup winning team of '92. Roy Keane drops back to make 3 central defenders, and Podborski is the 3rd United player making an FA Cup debut today, in because an ankle injury keeps out David Beckham. Well, that may have been some relief to the Wimbledon goalkeeper Neil Sullivan, beaten by Beckham's audacious chip from the halfway line when these teams met in the first game of the season. Wimbledon have lost their last 6 matches against United, including a 5th round FA Cup tie, but they're at full strength, with Efe Nkoku winning the starting selection ahead of Dean Holdsworth. Graham Poll is the man in charge this afternoon. Wimbledon have not beaten Manchester United since a solitary John Fashanu goal in a league match back in the 1993-94 season. But they have got past this 4th round stage of the FA Cup in each of the last 4 seasons, and they must surely fancy their chance now, having seen the wholesale changes that United have been forced to make. Joe Kinnear in the job since January of 1991, one of the longest serving in the Premier Division. Keane. Podborski. Challenge came in quickly. Free kicks given. Cantona trying to find himself room as Giggs takes the kick. That will be a Manchester United throw. Borski makes a run. Sullivan starts to come for it. Well, he's in trouble, Sullivan. You can tell the way Graham Poll has reacted, but I think he feels that Podborski is cheated. Just outside just on the edge of the area, Podborski went down, or was there contact? Well, he stays on Sullivan. It's a yellow card from Graham Poll. It's a free kick to Manchester United, right on the edge of the penalty area. Sullivan just making sure the wall's in the right place. And they'll have to come back a few more yards yet. Giggs with the left foot. Oh, he's gone for it! Fantastic save! Clawed away by Sullivan when it was bound for the top corner. Corner comes in. Giggs waits. He's kept it down. Sullivan falls on it very gratefully. But what an excellence. Well, he was beaten fairly, I think, by Kimball, shoulder to shoulder with the Frenchman. Oh, and in fact, well, Graham Poll has shown the yellow card to Cantona. Well, what has Graham Poll spotted here that nobody else did? Well, I think he's suggesting that Cantona was perhaps looking for a penalty, but they were certainly locked together, and it was 6 of one and half a dozen of the other. Here's Leonardson. Suddenly it's end-to-end. And he slips in Gale. Schmeichel waits at the near post. Nkoku didn't get the touch that was required. Now this looks better for Manchester United. Left foot. Sullivan equal to it. Well, he couldn't have got down much lower to head that Brian McClare. Circumstance in which he might have been better to use his foot. Ball could hardly have been more than a foot or 18 inches off the turf when he headed it. Here's Leonardson. Gale tried to play it back to him, and Cole gets a touch. Giggs breaks down the right. Giggs gets another chance. Here's Scholes. Oh, it's well hit. A real stinger. Neil Sullivan just able to push it over the crossbar. Cole. He got the touch, but it found Sullivan guarding the goal line. One or two expressions of concern. Still. Here's Giggs, pursued by Robbie Earle. Skips over one challenge. Dennis Irwin took it away from Vinnie Jones brilliantly. Solskjaer, Giggs. Here's Cantona. Scholes, yes! The player that Alec Ferguson calls my little nuisance. Just over 1 minute left in this fourth round tie, and finally the deadlock is broken. Cantona with the teasing cross, and Scholes delivers yet again. Well, we saw a dramatic finish to the match at the Dell last Saturday. And this looks like a Wimbledon free kick against the baby-faced assassin, as we call him, Solskjaer. Well, maybe it's not over yet. Wimbledon with the free kick. They've got 7 players in Manchester United's penalty area. Robbie Earle! Oh, yes! Robbie Earle has taken the credit, and it's 1-1. Wimbledon, the team that just will never lie down, have snatched the equaliser, and they've stunned Old Trafford, which was starting to celebrate victory. Holdsworth and Earle went up together. Robbie Earle got the touch. Past Schmeichel's right hand. It's 1-1 at Old Trafford in the most dramatic of fashions. Scholes with that goal must have thought that he'd won it for his makeshift team. Robbie Earle with that late equaliser, and there are stunned expressions at Old Trafford. And the final score, would you believe it, is Manchester United 1, Wimbledon 1.
Ray Davis.
A wet night for Act 3 of a 10-day drama of Cup, League and now Cup again. And the introduction of 2 new characters to the starting lineups. For Wimbledon, Dean Holdsworth, who hasn't played a full 90 minutes this season, joins the team strengthened compared with Saturday's league match here against Middlesbrough by the return of the Norwegian Øyvind Lennartsen. For Manchester United, Andy Cole, who scored the winner last Wednesday in the league match between these two teams, is preferred to Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who was unlucky not to score a hat-trick in that match and indeed set out the chance that Cole eventually took. Ronnie Johnson, fit again, returns to the defence, and with Paul Scholes unfit, there's a place for Karol Poborski. Keane had it for a moment. Nicely held up. Jones, too strong for Earle. Holdsworth. Lennartsen. And no flag went up, and the chance was not taken by Efenakoku. Well, he might have just been level, but I have to say it was a very close one. And Cantona takes them on. Cole landed too strongly at his feet. Giggs. Cantona couldn't make contact, and away by Earle. A move of French orchestration. Giggs' cross, and Cantona felt that he was pushed then as he challenged for the ball, but the referee unimpressed. And Gary Neville, good save, good recovery. Denying a man who's never scored for Manchester United. Lively stuff. This attack shouldn't have been allowed to go on as long as it did, though. Had 4 chances then to take the ball away. Cantona, good turn by Gale.
Pass didn't match it. Poor clearance by Jonsson. Koku and Leonardson. They've had two clear chances, Wimbledon. First to Koku's head, and the second from Koku to Leonardson's feet. Owen. Goal. Beckham! Blocked by Blackwell. Support coming up on the left side, but Koku goes past Owen. Chance to recover. And Schmeichel did well. And May left. 3 in the box. This is Cantona. And that's a good save. Died a bit. The kick is to Wimbledon. The referee won't allow it to be taken from there. Five up on the edge of the area. 2 just outside, and Schmeichel claims with ease. Beckham. Zaborski right. Cole and Giggs now left. Beckham. We saw it from Keane in the first half. Corner. Jones to supply. Koku on the edge of the 6-yard area. This is Holdsworth! Enough to make Schmeichel scurry. Not as good as the first half chances. But even so, he got there first, turned it aside. Almost a great ball. Away by Perry. It's a rattling good cup tie on a February night of now incessant rain. Nobody on the goal line for their corners. They haven't changed that in spite of the failure last week. Patterson is blocked. Best from Sullivan on the night. Pallister really met that with the meat, and he's up here again. And Cole appealed for handball. It came off Perry's arm, but accidental. But the back pass was with the forearm, I believe. This was a good stop, really good stop. Pallister making it his. Got what they wanted. Here comes the throw. Away goes Koku. Earl, Gale, Holdsworth, Leonardson, all waiting for the ball in the middle. And it could come now at a good angle. And here's Gale! At last for Wimbledon. And the marking was poor, but the header was strong, and the goal is a delight for Wimbledon. Jonsson. Cantona. Have to come back across Vinnie Jones. McClare. In comes Beckham. Jones to take the free kick. We're in the first minute of stoppage time. And it was blocked by Goodman from Koku. Keane. McClare. Beckham forward. Manchester United followers willing their team to save themselves at the death here. Giggs. Cantona, it's a corner. And up comes Schmeichel. In their hour of need, he's up. But it's hit a long way back. Ah! Schmeichel! But he's offside! He's offside! It's not going to count. He's scored once before in European competition, but he was clearly offside here as the ball is won at the back. And there's all sorts of trouble going on as we look at the replay. It was Pallister's header, but Schmeichel clearly offside. It's a magnificent attempt by him, but it doesn't stand. On by Vinnie Jones. Blackwell underneath it. Cantona away by Harfin. Half away by Jones. Keane. Neville. Beckham makes the overlap. Pallister was pushed down. Well, Wimbledon are very lucky to get away with that. Here's Pallister again. Put out for the corner by Perry. Not prepared to take any chances. Up comes Schmeichel again. If it is to be the end, it's a magnificent end by United going down fighting. Away by Koku, who might have scored at the beginning. But that's not to be the last clearance. Still more time on Graham Pole's watch. Neville to take the throw. Three around Pallister. Jones hoisted into the night sky, and Wimbledon have beaten Manchester United. The cup holders are out, and there is the scorer, Marcus Gale, in the 63rd minute, and Vinnie Jones has led his side to a memorable victory. Neil Sullivan, a magnificent save from Pallister. And you have to say, as last week when Alec Ferguson's side deserved to win the league match, tonight Wimbledon have deserved to win the cup match. Manchester United's run comes to an end.
In England it was FA Cup weekend, with Wimbledon, who had knocked the holders Manchester United out in the previous round, at home to fellow London side Queen's Park Rangers. And it was the First Division club who took the lead 4 minutes before the break. Mark Hateley heading in Gavin Peacock's cross. But just 3 minutes later, Wimbledon equalised. Marcus Gale heading in Kimball's corner. And 10 minutes after the break, Wimbledon scored what proved to be the winner. Oyvind Leopardsen supplying the pass for Robbie Earle to curl in a beauty past Jürgen Sommer. It takes the Dons into the quarter-finals.
Beating Wrexham today was a semi-final tie with the Premiership's bottom side. Wimbledon are up against favourites Chelsea in the other semi-final. The matches will be played on April the 13th, venues yet to be decided. In today's quarter-final at Hillsborough, Sheffield Wednesday and Wimbledon look to be heading for a replay until 2 late goals put Wimbledon into their second semi-final of the season.
Vinnie Jones was the only survivor of Wimbledon's 1988 FA Cup final win. 9 years on at Hillsborough, the Dons were a different proposition, and Joe Kinnear had plenty to feel confident about, but still urged his side to tap into that spirit of the underdog that has fueled their three-pronged attack on a European place. Leonardson almost provided an opening after 2 minutes, but Earle's header was saved by Pressman. Jones himself was inches away from getting his name on the score sheet. Wednesday paid the price, but not as they would have expected for Wimbledon's constant aerial bombardment. John Newsom landed badly and had to be stretchered off after 14 minutes with a dislocated ankle. Richie Humphreys was his replacement. They also lost Hyde after a heavy challenge from Earle, and David Hurst gave Wednesday another attacking option, and he didn't take long to test Sullivan. After the first half injuries and with just his reserve goalkeeper left on the bench, it was a tactical test David Pleat seemed to enjoy and seemed to be winning. They had Wimbledon on the run in the second half and did everything right but hit the target. Andy Booth was the guilty party on that occasion. Guy Whittingham's miss was just as bad. And typically, they did come to regret it. Gale knew exactly where Earl was, and 15 minutes before time, Earl knew exactly where the goal was. Wednesday battled for an equaliser, but inevitably left themselves lacking at the back, and Holdsworth, on as a substitute with practically the last kick of the game, sent Wimbledon into the last four. Ollie Foster, Sky News.
Окончательно потерявшие шансы на одно из призовых мест в чемпионате Англии, футболисты Челси уверенно выступают в Кубке страны. Команда Руда Гуллета легко сокрушила Уимблдон, который еще совсем недавно был одним из лидеров первенства, но в последнее время терпит одно поражение за другим. В этом матче прекрасно проявил себя опытнейший валиец Марк Хьюз. Два его точных удара предопределили успех Челси. И теперь предстоящая финальная встреча в карьере Хьюза будет уже пятой. На 42-й минуте Хьюз открыл счет, вы это только что видели. Через 19 минут после начала второго тайма отлично сыграл лидер атак Челси, итальянец Джанфранко Дзола, и счет стал 2-0. В самом конце игры Хьюз забил еще один мяч и принес Челси третью победу с крупным счетом в ходе нынешнего розыгрыша Кубка Англии. Смотрите, как великолепно действует нападающий английского клуба Челси.
Free kick then for the Dons. Played forward into the box. It'll make them for Holdsworth. Dean Holdsworth fires it past Boyer. Luton appeal for a push, but the referee's not going to give it. He's going to give the goal, and Dean Holdsworth has scored. Thomas for Luton. To Oldfield, back now to Hughes, away from one challenge. Hughes, left-footed shot past Sullivan, the equaliser for Luton, and Kerry Hughes has scored it. Wimbledon 1, Luton 1.
Of the form teams at Kenilworth Road, Wimbledon's league form has seen them move up to third place in the Premiership, and they're looking to extend their unbeaten run to 13 games. But they were lucky to get a 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park, and scorer Dean Holdsworth looks like getting another start as Joe Kinnear promises an attacking strategy. Luton looked the better side in that first game and are looking to make it 14 games unbeaten, and they have the incentive of a home tie with Aston Villa to spur them on. Richard Johnson, Sky News.
So the two sides then taking the field for this Coca-Cola Cup replay after the 1-1 draw at Selhurst Park. Luton Town taking on Premiership side Wimbledon. Free kick taken by Hughes, and it's in off Blackwell. Dean Blackwell, an own goal, and Luton are in front. Hughes' free kick, and Blackwell's turned it past his own keeper. See the kick coming in there from Hughes, and it was off Blackwell, and Neil Sullivan absolutely no chance. Now we're deep in stoppage time here at Kenilworth Road. Luton still leading by a goal to nil. Harford heads it down, the shot comes in, and it's in from Castledean. Stuart Castledean, deep in stoppage time, has equalised for the Dons. Away by Davis. Fear into the corner. Peter Fear grabs an extra time winner. It's Luton 1, Wimbledon 2.
Last night's matches were postponed. So it's Burnden Park, Bolton first then, where Wimbledon were not just attempting to remain the capital's sole survivors, but also trying to prevent the First Division leaders from claiming a hat-trick of London Premiership scalps in this season's competition. Could the Dons succeed where Chelsea and Spurs both failed? Clive Tilsley is your commentator.
A quarter-final meeting of two teams the rest will have been happy to avoid. Nobody has gate-crashed more parties than Wimbledon. Nobody has kicked more Premiership sides out of the cups than Bolton, no fewer than 9 in the last 4 years. Here's their bouncer-in-chief. John McGinley has contributed 11 goals to those cup shocks. He's scored in every round of this season's Coca-Cola, culminating in a hat-trick in the 6-goal mauling of Spurs here. McGinley is one of only two survivors from the Bolton team that met Liverpool in the Wembley final less than 2 years ago. David Lee, recalled to the side tonight, is the other. Colin Todd's 22-year-old son Andy deputises for injured skipper Gudni Bergson, but there's still bags of experience in that lineup. John Sheridan scored the Sheffield Wednesday goal that beat Manchester United in the 1991 League Cup final. Wimbledon are close to full strength. Dean Holdsworth's domestic problems the only complication to their build-up. Both Chris Perry and Robbie Earle, absentees from the win at Everton last time out, are fit to resume. Amongst the Wimbledon substitutes tonight, 37-year-old Mick Harford, who was a League Cup winner with Luton Town coming up 9 years ago. Referee Gerald Ashby didn't need a pitch inspection. Bolton were one of the very first clubs to install undersoil heating here at Burnden Park. Next season they moved to a brand new stadium. 2 steps from Wembley, 2 form teams. Bolton Wanderers, the leading team, the leading scorers in the Football League. 3 straight wins immediately behind them. Wimbledon in red tonight, beaten just once since the opening week of the season. Here is McGinley, beaten to it in the air by Dean Blackwell. Helped by Okoku into the path of Ardley. And now Marcus Gale. Both teams sat out the weekend. This is Wimbledon's first game for over a week. They rested key players in the earlier rounds of the competition, but not now. Promotion is obviously Bolton's priority, but reaching the final didn't get in the way of that priority 2 years ago. They called in at Wembley on the way up to the Premiership then. They'd love to do the same again. Jones throw to Gale. Looking longer towards Robbie Earle this time. Knocked down towards Ardley. Well, it was straight at Gavin Ward. But it was hit with timing and power by Neil Ardley. A sharp chance. Ward perfectly positioned. Kimball's clearance only as far as Lee. Tidied up by Blackwell. Offside against Blake. Trying to feed off Todd's pass. Gale, then from Ardley, and here's Okoku, and that's the opening goal from Okoku. Inside of 3 minutes, Wimbledon in front. Great start for Joe Kinnear's side. Jerry Taggart was doing his level best to hold off Okoku and looked in danger of conceding a penalty, but in the end it didn't matter. The two flick-ons, first from Gale, then from Ardley, and I'm sure that would have been a foul. But Okoku dispatched it with great aplomb. Really well taken goal by Efan Okoku. Into double figures for the season. Todd's header finding France. Bolton Wanderers haven't really had a chance to get started yet. Already they're a goal down. Sellers, though, into the path of Blake. That'll be a corner. Perry put under pressure. Hearty roar from the throats of the home fans, stunned by Okoku's opener. Imperative from Bolton Wanderers' point of view that Wimbledon don't get time to settle on their lead and feel comfortable with it. Flick from Blake. Sullivan had his post covered. Nathan Blake first to the ball, but the angle was all against him. Jones, helped on by Ardley. Cleared by Fairclough. This is Franson. Run for Blake. Jones got a foot in. On by Sellers this time. Caught a little late by Jones. The Wimbledon skipper was making a genuine attempt to get to the ball. Just didn't quite arrive in time. Sellers. This is Lee. Oh, Leonardson was high then, caught David Lee in the midriff. This is shin actually that he's holding. The Norwegian trying to help out his fullback Alan Kimball, aware of the threat that Lee's pace and elusiveness can cause. Sellers with the free kick. McGinley beyond the far post, and the ball was already out of play. No goal. It was Taggart who dispatched the ball into the net, for the record. I think probably the reaction of the other players is the main indication that. Sheridan couldn't clear, on by Ardley. Taggart in the way. Now Sellers. Sheridan. Sellers. Through to Blake. Branson. This is Small. Blake again. Quick cross this time towards McGinley. Hit the post. Oh, Wimbledon were lucky then. I can't believe that Nathan Blake was actually firing for goal, but that's what he very nearly found. Just twisted. Tried to float it early cross towards John McGinley and nearly hit the jackpot. Sponsored throw. Leonard's Koku couldn't control it. Might get a second chance here by Taggart, who recovered. Ooh, given away by Sheridan dangerously to Gale. Still Marcus Gale. Still managed to poke it out to Ardley. Cunningham. Branson got in a challenge, and Sheridan will be relieved, trying to pass the ball across the face of his own penalty area. No flag here. Sellers in pursuit. Sullivan committed. A little lucky there, the Wimbledon goalkeeper. It fell for Cunningham. Wasn't the best header of the night. Always a threat though when Wimbledon break. Okoku to Leonardson. 2-0. Effortlessly converted by Øyvind Leonardson. Curling shot, which gives Wimbledon a 2-goal lead with less than a quarter of the match play. Well, Joe Kinnear says he's turned down 2 £4 million offers for Leonardson from Italian clubs this season. If he ever did become available, there would be English clubs interested too. There's a lot of energy about him, but there's a class about his football, epitomised by that stylish finish. It's Leonardson's 4th goal of the season. It's Wimbledon's 2nd of the night, who have a measure of control here now, smooth control. Blackwell hacking the ball away as Blake tries to unsettle the Wimbledon defence. Anxious faces on the terraces. Todd. Sheridan. Tidied up by Earl, who then ran into Branson. Blocked by Chris Perry. Now David Lee. Again, just outnumbered when he gained possession, David Lee. He's finding it very difficult to find a way past Kimball and Leonarsson. Blake held off Blackwell that time. It's Nathan Blake. Well, Sullivan had to make the save. He does use his frame so well to back into and turn defenders like that. And his confidence is so high that even though McGilly was up with him, Blake was only ever going to go for goal. Cunningham beating Todd to it at the near post. Back in by Small, away by Earl. And now it's come for Leonarsson. Just as well that Fairclough intervened because Okoku was on his way otherwise. Jones trying to feed Okoku. Now Earl. All the time Bolton dogged by the constant thread of Gale here and Okoku on the counter. They're a nuisance, the pair of them. So much speed and so much self-belief at the moment. Blake though. Now Franson. McGinley trying to break ahead of him. Per Franson on the ball. Blackwell managed to get to him and Franson was a little unlucky. The ball ricocheted away for a Wimbledon goal kick. Flag raised rather belatedly against Robbie Earl. I think the flag is up on the far side. Bolton have possession now. It was a flag against Wimbledon, so it's now down. Jones through the legs of Lee. That's a searching pass to Ward, coming off limits to clear. It'll only come for Ardley though. Cunningham is breaking to his right. Sellers covering. Well, Bolton's balloon was deflated in just 3 minutes really by Effen Okoku's strength, both in the challenge and indeed in the volley. Oyvind Leonarsson with a curling shot doubled Wimbledon's lead midway through the half, and the hardy bunch of Wimbledon fans are preparing to celebrate another good night in a very good season. They lead 2-0 at the break.
With the mustard.
This is only the second time that Wimbledon have reached the quarterfinals of this competition. Certainly don't have a record to write home about in the old League Cup. Never been to the semi-finals. Never, of course, sampled European football, which is still a guarantee for this season's Coca-Cola Cup winners. But you wouldn't bet against them being a part of one of those European draws next summer. Certainly the odds against Bolton stopping them tonight have risen since the departure of John McGinley, who damaged a calf muscle in training yesterday and suffered a recurrence tonight. Corner kick given. Gale getting the benefit of any doubt. Taggart furious. Well, I mean, that is called talking your way into the referee's notebook. There can only be one outcome, whatever he said. However upset he may be, to go right eyeball to eyeball with the referee and then to continue. It's been a frustrating night for Bolton, but Jerry Taggart, an international player, captain for the night. Can't allow too much of that emotion to spill over. Was he right to get upset? Well, maybe he was. Corner has been given. Dealt with by Franson. Nice ball from Ardley. Back to Kimball. Not such a good ball from him. Lee in pursuit with Cunningham. Here's David Lee. He has Scott Green in the middle. This is Scott Green! It was Øyvind Leonardsen who got back to cover. Tempting cross from David Lee, but Øyvind Leonardsen managed to get goal side of Scott Green as he headed for goal. Corner kick. Sellers. Now Sheridan. Oh, good save by Sullivan. This is Blake. Oh, maybe turned the wrong way there, but what a good stop by Neil Sullivan. Good hit from John Sheridan through the crowd, and Sullivan at full stretch just managed to palm it away. Referee's assistant on the near side is summoning Gerald Ashby over to him. Dave Booth here clearly has something to report. And it's Phil Brown, the Bolton assistant manager, or the first team coach to give him his correct title, who is now being invited to join his manager Colin Todd in the stands. Oh no, he's got one last warning, has he? No, he is going. I thought that was it. Jones. Cunningham. In the air a long time. Ward had plenty of opportunity to come and claim it. All small with a loose pass. This is Earl. And now Leonardsen. Sharp stop by Gavin Ward, but it could have been a lot worse for Bolton Wanderers. Brian Small would be mighty relieved. Sheridan. Branson. Kerry again. Run back momentarily by Sellers. Jones climbing high, but it'll come for David Lee. Again, chased into the corner by Leonardsen, which enabled Kimball to make the tackle. Lee's cross. Good one. Green with a flick. Sullivan just managed to beat it away. Caught almost by surprise there. The Wimbledon goalkeeper reacted well. Scott Sellers. Nathan Blake. Chris Fairclough is forward, but Kenny Cunningham is there. And Kimball escaping a rather lax moment. David Lee conceding the goal kick, but certainly Neil Sullivan has been called into action a couple of times in this second half. A few more interested spectators than the Manchester United manager. Fairclough being forced back by Gale. Good leap again by Perry. Foul there by Koku. Here's Sheridan. Lee. Bolton seeing a lot of the ball. Seeing one or two glimpses of the Wimbledon goal. Blake. Lee. That's a searching cross. Green was in there. He claims he was held. Cunningham was the defender. Referee says nothing doing. This is Sellers. It's another good cross. Blake's there this time. And Wimbledon survive once more. Good spell of pressure this for Bolton Wanderers. And in the midst of that, Scott Green felt that he should have had a penalty as he tried to get on the end of Lee's cross. Cunningham certainly made it very difficult for him, shall we say. Wimbledon looked fairly measured in the first half in particular, but Bolton have rattled them at times in this second. Leonardson, Earl, good play. And run into a bit of a cul-de-sac. Green down to Blake. Tucked it into Green. And now Franson! Maybe a yard and a half wide. Maybe Sullivan's dive had the post covered anyway. Scott Green's done well here as an auxiliary forward. Setting up Franson that time. Colin Todd now down at ground level, his assistant up in the stands. Pollock. Away by Blackwell. Joe Kinnear played in an FA Cup winning team with Jimmy Greaves and Dave Mackay and Pat Jennings and Terry Venables back in 1967. Wimbledon have had enough know-how and ringcraft to defend the lead that they established in the opening quarter of the game. Franson, and now Blake. Here's Pollock. Sellers. Jamie Pollock again. Head away by Brian McAllister. It was needed again after Ardley's miscue, and here's Andy Clark. Now he's got some real pace. Todd across with the challenge. Clark in pursuit of Ardley's pass. Jones, Ardley, offside. It's less than 20 years since Wimbledon replaced Workington in the Football League. 17th of June 1977, a red letter day. Somehow professional football's never been quite the same since. They were still in the 4th division back in 1983. And now here they are, standing 5th in the Premiership and on the verge of a major semi-final. They're there. Wimbledon's first cup semi-final since 1988, the year of the Crazy Gang's finest hour against Liverpool at Wembley. There's been game with 2 goals in the opening quarter from Efen Okoku and Oyvind Leonardson. Wimbledon reached the semi-finals of the League Cup for the first time in a club history on which the ink never seems to quite dry. A club that is always moving forward, always defying its critics and the odds. And Bolton Wanderers were unable to complete a capital hat-trick tonight. Wimbledon were triumphant, where Chelsea and Tottenham were beaten, triumphant by 2-0. They're in the semis.
No, but it was just nice to get off to that start. That's what we needed, and we needed to keep the crowd quiet tonight, and we knew that they were buzzing, but a lot was said before the game, and people were starting to predict that we'd fall like Chelsea and Tottenham. That sort of gave us a little bit of incentive to prove everybody wrong again, and the boys were very professional, very calm about it, and very determined.
I mean, this game's important for us, you know. We've been reading the papers the last couple of days, what Bolton were going to do and what they weren't going to do to us, and how loud their getter blaster was and how loud it wasn't. So, you know, they should have get a little bit more quiet, because it made us more determined tonight.
You're not used to being favourites or amongst the favourites for a competition, are you?
Not really, no. We've never been favourites in our lives, but we've been going along in the right manner this year, and we've stayed injury-free, which has kept the continuity of the team going, and I had to make some decisions today. I had to leave McAllister out and bring Chris Perry back, but it was the right decision, and they played exceptionally well, the back four, and we're looking forward to the semis now, and just hope we get a decent draw.
Yeah, and hopefully that we can do a little bit this year, and then people can stop putting this blanket over us, saying what a fairy tale it is, because you know, our fairy tales went in 1988, and we've been building ever since. So you know, fairy tales are for kids, not for professional footballers.
Vinnie Jones, ever the realist, but David Seaman, Wimbledon's story this season, it's a fairy tale story, really, isn't it?
It certainly is, you know, one defeat in, what, 22 matches?
22.
Yeah, and they're going great.
The amazing thing is, I mean, Chelsea and Spurs went to Burnden Park showing fear. Yeah. There was no fear with Wimbledon tonight at the beginning, was there? They just went at them.
That's just perfect for Wimbledon. You know, Wimbledon loved that sort of thing, going into places where it's going to be hard, and they always produce the goods.
After 3 minutes, they produced the goods.
Yeah, exactly. It was a great start for them. You know.
F and a Koku.
Yeah, you know, great ball in there, nice flick on. And he just, you know, holds the guy off.
He does well, actually. It's a real battle, David, isn't it, here?
Yeah, certainly. He's holding him off there, using his strength. And then when he gets to the end, he keeps his balance. He's got his eye on the ball, and it's a great finish.
He hooks it in.
Yeah, brilliant.
So they got that start, and then the Norwegian. You don't want to pronounce Øyvind, do you?
I'll stick to Leonardsen.
Øyvind Leonardsen, stick to the Norwegian, yeah. But once again, I mean, it's a beautifully taken goal. And from a goalkeeper's point of view, no chance.
No, not at all. You know, he's controlled it there, pulled it inside. He still kept his balance. There's one way he's going to put that, but he puts it right in the corner. You know, and the goalie's got no chance.
He just set himself up. You know, don't you, as a goalkeeper, once you're in that position?
You know roughly, but you don't go, you know, you don't gamble, just in case he flicks it to the other side. But he curled it in great.
He's been attracting a lot of attention, Leonardsen, hasn't he, from abroad?
Yeah, exactly, you know, and playing like that, there's no wonder.
And in the second half, he was back there. Joe Kinnear's come out tonight, said that they defended a lot more in the second half. They were trying to defend the 2-0.
Yeah. But that's what you do, you know, you go out the first half, you know, they could have been 3 or 4 up, you know, but as we see here, you know, that Leonardsen is getting back, not only just scoring, he's getting back and getting great blocks in there. You know, like you said, there's no wonder the £4 million bids are coming in. I don't know why they took him off.
I know, well, he went off at the end, but they'd won the game. The thing about Wimbledon, you know exactly what to expect. In the Premiership this year, you played against them. Twice Arsenal were ahead.
Yeah, that's right. And
twice they came back.
They came back, you know, and they're playing well. You know what you're going to get with Wimbledon, but they do it, but they do it good.
They're very close to a European place, a semi-final here.
They're not far off us as well.
I know, they could be top.
In the league, exactly. You know, they've got games in hand, and like I say, Europe, who knows?
Okay, thanks, David. Well done, Wimbledon. Coming up next, a hugely attractive tie at the Riverside Stadium.
Ola Thorne, who played under Martin O'Neill at Norwich, is thrown straight into the Coca-Cola Cup semi-final with Wimbledon. But sadly, his season is ended after 11 minutes when he suffers a broken ankle.
Cunningham overlapping down the right, but a loose ball by him, and a very strange injury then.
Now that could be nasty. He certainly caught himself all wrong.
Olathorn sliding in, and the moment he made contact with the ball, he pulled up as though he'd pulled a muscle or something here. Let's have a look.
Well, it's the ankle. Goes right underneath him. That could be nasty. Right underneath him.
Yeah. Well, would you believe it? He's only had 11 minutes of his Leicester City debut. and he's in trouble here. You can tell that from the signal of Gary Parker and the physio Alan Smith there. What misfortune that is for Leicester. Their newest signing, it looks, is not going to be able to continue in this game. Claridge turns it back, and there's a chance! Oh, Muzzy, as it knows that he has missed the best opportunity of the game so far.
This is great thinking. The opportunity arose from him. He rushed across, plays a lovely little cushion header, and then goes on a little run. Robbie Earls totally lost with the run. He didn't quite hit the shot. We'll see it from this angle, outside of the left foot. It's always spinning away from goal.
Claridge comes to Heskey. That's a great play by Heskey, and it just touched against the post.
What a save. What a save.
Well, I thought so, but the referee's given a goal kick.
That had both goalkeeper and post. That's the best strike in the match. It's the best effort of the match. He's the one that's threatened more than anyone, Emile Heskey, tonight. He skips past and they back off. Blackwell backs away. And that's a great save, I tell you. There's no doubt the goalkeeper gets a touch on that. Not only does he get a touch there, it just clips the outside of the post.
Leicester arrived at Selhurst Park for the semi-final decided with Wimbledon in high spirits. And City were tested when the Dons took the lead.
This is Marcus Gale. Oh, driven through Keller, and Wimbledon are in front. Fantastic shot by Marcus Gale. Right through the Leicester City goalkeeper, to use a cricketing term, beaten for pace. And Lawrence has got another one on the head because Leon Arson's foot was a little high. He's been penalised. Lawrence on the worse for wear this time. I think Alan Wilkie just wants the Leicester City physiotherapist, Alan Smith, to have a look at him. Parker with a free kick. It's towards Grayson. It's in. An equaliser from Simon Grayson. And it has been coming. What has also come, unfortunately, is a mini pitch invasion by the celebrating Leicester fans. Well, they've a right to be happy.
It's a magnificent balling from Gary Parker, and it's an equally magnificent header. That is a great header from Grayson. A great header coming in right round the back of the defenders. Gary puts a big loop on this one, misses out all the bigger defenders, and he sneaks up on the blind sides, and that is a brilliant header.
Martin O'Neill jumps for joy. The fourth goal of Simon Grayson's career. I think it's probably the most important so far. The final whistle has gone. It's Leicester City and Martin O'Neill who go to Wembley. The pre-season relegation favourites could end the season with a major trophy to their name. They have exceeded everyone's expectations but their own, maybe even their own too. The away goal scored by Simon Grayson has eventually carried them past Wimbledon. They will have another chance in the FA Cup, but they've had a taste of their own medicine from Leicester, another taste. Their third defeat this year at Leicester's hands. And the perennial Wembley visitors in the playoffs will go to Wembley for their first major cup final since 1969. Denied controversially in the FA Cup, they've made it gloriously in the Coca-Cola Cup. 1-1 on the night. They go through on the away goals rule. When they were promoted to the Premiership last spring, they came up with a return ticket pinned to their back, and yet they've never been in the bottom three, rarely in the bottom six. They've never lost more than 2 games in succession, rarely failed to score in a game. They're high on spirit and heart, but not low on craft either. And since the turn of the year, they have blossomed into a top half of the table side. More than that, a cup team to reckon with.
Hero Simon Grayson leads the celebrations. City are on their way to their first cup final in 28 years.
The last at Wembley, losing to a last-minute penalty. But in different days and a very different setting from the old Leeds Road, it's the First Division side who can boast 2 cup winners in their lineup. Barry Horne, who won with Everton in 1995, and David Phillips, who won the year before Wimbledon's success with Coventry City. They're 2 of 7 new faces brought to Huddersfield, which has seen the club climb from the depression of 5 points adrift at the foot of the division, with a record under Peter Jackson and Terry Yorath, which shows 7 wins and 2 draws in 13 games. Their team is unchanged from their 3rd round win at Bournemouth, and indeed the away draw in the league with Birmingham City last Saturday. Wimbledon, by their own standards, are having a bit of a patchy season, not helped by injuries, particularly to front players. Carl Courts and Marcus Gale are their front line today, on a ground where 2 years ago they only just survived. Vinnie Jones, their captain, starts a 2-match suspension today, and it looked in the warm-up as though they might lose their captain for the day, Robbie Earle, who pulled up quite sharply and needed a bit of attention to his leg. The referee is David Ellery. Wimbledon this afternoon in all red. Huddersfield Town, the Terriers in their traditional blue and white stripes. Wimbledon starting with Hughes up, probably tucking in just behind the front 2 players. This is Kevin Cunningham. Morrison's head. 2 players in the 6-yard area were offside. It wouldn't have counted. He looks pretty calm, but he's every reason to feel that the gods are not on his side. Cunningham. Hardley. Gale, good save. Really good save by Steve Harper. Gale's look spoke volumes. Met it with quite a bit of meat, looked as though it was going to squeeze in. Harper made sure that it didn't. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Well, from the stands it looked a gift. And he wasn't offside when the ball was played in. He had so much time. You can only feel sympathy for him. And this is Johnson. And again, Neil Sullivan reprimands his defenders. He's had 2 or 3 sniffs at goal. That's Grant Johnson. Robbie Earle's problem, a twisted knee, which now makes him a spectator. Allison poised to go. As to him, it's aimed. He got a little touch, and here's Johnson. It's a goal kick. Well, there was a moment then when it looked as though Neil Sullivan was beaten. It was a good flick on. The goalkeeper, though, there hesitated and seemed to turn his head to one side as the defender came in, but he got away with it. Hughes. The referee played a very good advantage because Horne was trying to grab hold of him. He's got to attack this. Hughes. Gale comes right to left. Court is far side. Oh, and he just couldn't reach the flick on. Gale. Court trying to set it up. Adley! Oh, that's a cracking drive. Really struck it supremely well, Neil Adley.
Courtois held it up, little touchback, and no hesitation, the right foot of Ardley beating Steve Harper and finding the corner. Fine goal. Morrison is up at the back and gets up at the back. Allison, Morrison, block of hands, but inadvertent, said the referee. The hands were across the chest, and Blackwell is not penalised. No doubt the hands were there, as Morrison managed to get the header down. Allison, Morrison finally with a shot. Look at the hands position. Oh, they were a bit higher than the chest, and the complaints of the crowd seem to have some justification. Solbakken just gives it back from whence it came, but that's nicely done by Hughes. 3 in the middle. And here's a real chance. Castledine didn't take it, blocked by Jenkins. That's a fine save again. That denies court. But Steve, not to be for the First Division side. One clean strike of the ball by Neil Ardley, deciding the contest. Balance of play was in favour of Huddersfield Town, except for the closing stages. And Wayne Allison had 2 fine chances.
By nature.
Could the First Division club complete the job against Wimbledon?
10 days ago, Miksu Patalainen scored the equaliser which gave Wolves a lifeline. Tonight he wasn't quite so effective. His was the first wasted opportunity of the night. But there were others to follow in his failing. As Wimbledon found their rhythm and their Premiership status threatened to prove the telling factor, chances were created. Jason Newell, the first errant Wimbledon striker of the night. Set pieces were a home weakness and a visiting strength, but the first half produced no breakthrough. Chris Perry and then Marcus Gale kept out by Mike Stowell's agility. Wimbledon's threat from corners finally paid off after 48 minutes. Vinnie Jones headed Wimbledon into the lead and perhaps began to think about taking his beloved Wimbledon back to the club which once tempted him away, Leeds United. But if he did, it was premature. Carl Robinson's equaliser set up a tense finale. And with 5 minutes to go, the game was settled with true Wimbledon-style directness by Wolves. Stowell to Friedman was the route, Neil Sullivan was beaten at the near post, and Wolves were into the last 8 of the FA Cup for the 3rd time in 5 years.
Phil Mepham reporting, and this is the revised quarter-final draw. It's Arsenal against West Ham United. Remind you, that's our tie live here on ITV. Coventry meet Sheffield United. Leeds will face...
with a finely judged volley on 16 minutes. But the Premiership side were gifted an equaliser, and Brian Law handled the ball in the area, and 20-year-old Carl Court converted the spot kick. Andy Clark added a second just before the break, before Jason Newell proved there's nothing wrong with the long ball when it's played like this. 11 minutes from the end, Court scored his 3rd goal in 4 days to put a smile on Joe Kinnear's face. And Stuart Castledine completed the route to virtually guarantee a 3rd round spot for Wimbledon.
To their
Chelsea administered their own form of capital punishment at Highbury. The 5-0 thrashing of Arsenal confirms their desire to retain the League Cup. Player boss Gianluca Vialli, once again, an inspiration.
This is Vialli. It's in.
In opposition tonight, Joe Kinnear's Wimbledon, away day specialist so far in this competition. Can the Super Dons upset the form book against the Kings Road High Rollers? And how about Luton and their manager Lenny Lawrence? They're at Peter Reid's First Division leaders Sunderland, hoping to become the only representatives from the Nationwide League in the semi-finals. Hello, good evening. Well, it's a taste of the Worthingtons tonight and tomorrow night on Carlton Sport. All the quarter-finals will be resolved in one hit, and the winners of the competition, they'll be the first European qualifiers. I'm absolutely delighted. The West Ham manager, Harry Redknapp, is with us tonight. Hi, Harry.
Hi, Jim.
The top London club in the Premiership. Nosebleed yet?
No, it's nice to be up there. It's nice to have 26 points on the board at this stage of the season. I said on Saturday after the game, it's normally around about March when we finally get the 26 points. But no, we had a good run last year. We were always up in the top 7 or 8, just missed out on Europe. So that would be the ambition of this year. You know, it's not going to be easy, but that's what we're aiming for. OK, more from Harry later on, of course. First, we go to Selhurst Park. Wimbledon really have the odds stacked against them once again. Chelsea have knocked the Dons out of the FA Cup twice in the last 3 seasons and knocked 3 past them at Stamford Bridge just a couple of weeks ago. Clive Tilsley is your commentator.
This is the furthest that Chelsea have had to travel in defence of the trophy thus far. Aston Villa and Arsenal sound impressive early scouts for them, but this is the first time the holders have faced a first-choice team. Record signing Gareth Ainsworth is the only notable absentee from the Wimbledon lineup. Michael Hughes is back after suspension, and Chris Perry has recovered from injury. Neil Ardley, who scored twice at Birmingham in round 3, is preferred to Mark Kennedy, the match winner at Bolton in the last round. Dennis Wise missed the last round because of a red card in round 3. He totted up to a 4-match ban. He returns against his former employers tonight. A Chelsea side showing 7 changes from the weekend. You'd hardly know it, though. 8 internationals in that starting 11 and 3 more on the bench. It's by far the strongest lineup that they've fielded for a Worthington Cup side this season. Chelsea in all white. Wimbledon have not beaten them here at Selhurst Park since taking up residence more than 7 years ago. Gustavo Poyet trying to test them out early on. They were soundly beaten at Chelsea less than 3 weeks ago, but Wimbledon do have a diploma in bucking trends. It would be just like them tonight, wouldn't it? Kenny Cunningham tossed in high towards Yule, who'd got forward. It came off Dubry's head. It will be a corner. Chelsea's treasury of recent cup conquests include a quarter-final victory here in the FA Cup 3 seasons ago. They beat Wimbledon again in a Highbury semi-final the following year, but then Chelsea have beaten just about everyone they've come across in cup football of late. Corner taken by Ardley. In towards Gale at the near post, and it needed Dubry to stab it away rather nervously again with Leeburn in attendance. Came off the Chelsea man trying to protect the near post initially. Tossed into the same area, and this time Leboeuf deals with it. Bounces past Goldbeck. Calmly played by Thatcher out to Ardley. His cross was deflected. Earls attacked it at the near post. Carring with a rather tentative punch. Gale trying to set it up for somebody. Nudges it past Hughes. Finds Cunningham. Michael Hughes trying to keep the heat on Chelsea in these opening moments. Eventually fouled by Babayaro. 2 Mary Anns in gloves tonight, Babayaro and Poyet. It is a brisk night. And a brisk start by Wimbledon. Hughes, the left footer, number 16, Ardley, the right footer, number 12, Leeburn, the obvious candidate. It's Hughes. And he hits it in low, would you believe? And Leboeuf is able to clear. Chelsea just looking to get a breather. Goal kick. Joe Kinnear was twice a League Cup winner at Wembley in his Tottenham playing days. The likes of Chivers and Peters and Gilzine and Mullery. Goldbeck. Viali. Away by Perry. Wise. Morris to Dubry. To drive the ball into the path Bialy. Now has to do some defending. Oh, and a very strong back pass by Dubry. Karin only just reacted to it. Caught everybody by surprise. Gale unable to respond. And Chelsea managed to smuggle it away. Morris has it back for them. And now Poyet on towards Bialy, who'd made a run inside left, and the pass went inside right. Michael Dubry tested out his goalkeeper's control, shall we say that. Very firmly struck, and Karim was a bit off balance. Poyet into the path of Goldbeck. Thatcher ran across him. Goldbeck managed to knock it against Ben Thatcher, and then a corner kick for Chelsea. Bjarne Goldbeck made his Chelsea debut in the last round of the competition at Highbury, just 2 days after signing from FC Copenhagen, just 6 days after playing against Chelsea for them. His work has ushered Dubry forward from the back. LeBeuf is in there. Wise towards LeBeuf. Good defending at the near post. Wise. Curled in towards LeBeuf. Dubry was trying to get there. He was just being held off and has been penalised well. It was Carl Lieber who was back inside of his own penalty area. I'm not quite sure what Michael Dubry did wrong here. He was just trying to get past Lieber, who was clearly obstructing him. But the free kick went against the Chelsea number 12. It's like a block on the line of scrimmage in American football, wasn't it? Lieber wasn't going to move. On by Ewell. On board just got to it. Nudged on though into the path of Ewell by Lieber. Ewell trying to trick LeBeuf, who was having none of it. Petrescu emerges with the ball. On to Jody Morris. He's got Bialy to his right. Poyet in space to his left. Morris has waited on the ball for a long time here. Move has lost some of its momentum now. Pass is a bit strong for Goldbeck. Lost opportunity. Poyet, in particular to Morris's left, had room for manoeuvre. Wise clearly fouled by Ewell, who is a forward doing a stint in midfield, really. Michael Dubry is forward. Wise. Headed by Gale. And as far as LeBeuf. Couldn't resist it. The quarterback coming forward for the original free kick. It just opened up for Frank LeBeuf, who dragged his shot wide of Neil Sullivan's post, as he was then explaining to the referee, Graham Cole. Climbing well, quite literally, I think. On by Ardley, flicked on by Lieber, chested down by Gale, trying to help it into the path of Ewell, and Lombard reacted well there. Thatcher seeking out Hughes in the corner. Was caught by LeBeuf. Trying to ease Hughes onto his less favoured right foot. In the end, saw a glimpse of the ball and had a stab at it, didn't get it. Ardley takes. It's towards Earl! Wimbledon in front inside of 20 minutes. It's Robbie Earl. And how often do they score that kind of goal? It looks so straightforward. I think Earl was inside the 6-yard box when he made contact. The marking was rather loose. Case maybe for saying that Karin could have come from his line. Either way, it was a straightforward goal for Robbie Earl. And Chelsea, unbeaten since the opening day of the season, are behind to Joe Kinnear's Wimbledon. Thrust in towards Vialli. Dealt with by Perry initially, Cunningham, but Vialli made a good challenge, and little unfortunate that the ball ran loose for Yule. Leboeuf has sold his goalkeeper short. It's Carl Leboeuf now. Well, he had Gale square of him, and I think he probably did the right thing in going for goal, but Leboeuf managed to get in a nibble and put Leboeuf off. And managed, in a sense, to atone for his error. Leboeuf's first touch wasn't the best. Knocked it a little square of himself, really. A little too far away. Could have been two. Blackwell's header more up than away. Earl managed to force it on. Yule was held up by Dennis Wise, who would do well to keep his temper in check. Returning from his second suspension of the season, and we are only just into December, 3 last season. And he just can't afford to react like that. Referee's having a long, long word with Dennis Wise here. No card. Perry with the free kick. Headers by Dewberry. Earl forward, and Gale's in here, but the flag is up. Marcus Gale was just beyond Frank Leboeuf, and Robbie Earl won another strong header in midfield. Carring covered the post anyway. On board. Petrescu. Slid through towards Vialli. Seen off though by Blackwell. Dennis Wise with a shot. There's no element of surprise about that. Crisply hit half volley from Dennis Wise. Neil Sullivan had everything covered as it swung and sailed over his crossbar. Earl's header came off Yule. Now Goldbeck. Vialli is to his right. Petrescu, Poyet, and Morris down the middle. Nothing obvious on for the Chelsea man in possession. Nice combination involving Babayaro and Poyet. Now Goldbeck. This is Morris. In towards the head of Petrescu. Away as far as Goldbeck. Good block. Cleared by Yule. But in the main, Wimbledon have been able to smother Chelsea's invention in the first half. And most of the threat has come from the men in blue. The only goal scored in pretty familiar fashion by Robbie Earl from a free kick on the left-hand side, headed in at close range. The Wimbledon threat has been obvious, but Chelsea have had problems dealing with it. And at half-time, Joe Kinnear's team deserve their one-goal advantage. Substitution by Chelsea. A forward for a midfield player. Torre Andre Flo has taken over from Bjarne Goldbeck to lend some support for Gianluca Vialli. It's amazing to think that Chelsea were beaten 19 times last season. Amazing that they still won 2 trophies and finished 4th in the Premiership. This season they are unbeaten since the opening day, unbeaten in 19 games, ironically, and if they extend their sequence tonight, they will set a new club record. Hughes. Cunningham has made a run down the right-hand side. You're trying to catch up too. Poyet wins the race. Out of play, though. Throw into Wimbledon. Cunningham. Leeburn is there, just managed to win it with any consequence. Earl down to Yule. It's nicely weighted for Hughes. Michael Hughes! Goalkeeper Chelsea goal living something of a charmed life. Jody Morris's effort pulled wide at the other end. Hughes drove it in. It came off Karine, and Leboeuf was the only defender. It was Karine who actually hooked it clear. Hughes. Earl. Hughes locked it towards Ewell. He's brought it down to Gale. Marcus Gale shot. Karine held on. Same kind of threat. Wimbledon picking up pretty much where they left off in the first half. Chelsea haven't been able to turn the tide of the game yet. Flo here hasn't been able to make an impact as yet. Poyet to Morris. Now Wise. Leboeuf venturing forward. Got it into Vialli. Lovely control from Gianluca Vialli. Dug out for Poyet. Well, he's under pressure when he's shot. This time by Poyet. Gianluca Vialli trying desperately to conjure up some space either for himself or for a teammate. Drew three towards him. Poyet's shot was always just swerving wide of the mark. But that's a little lift for Chelsea, and they've needed one. Sometimes little moments like that can move a team up a gear or two. Babayaro, there's Vialli again. He is an inspirational figure in every sense, on and off the field. Very different off it, where he's rather laconic. On it is an agitated soul. Wise. In towards Flo. Vialli is waiting. Oh! What a cut that was by Hartley. He can't have known what was happening around him, but his header did reach the goalkeeper. What was he thinking of here? Certainly didn't see Vialli, did he? And Vialli just couldn't quite make a contact with it. Neil Ardley. There's a real let-off for him. Cunningham to Gale. Onside, Michael Hughes. Has Lieburn in the middle. Gale straining to get there too. This is Lieburn closing in. Get the shot against Longboard. It will be a corner kick. No flag this time. Hughes aware that Lieburn was there, just trying to arc across towards the big forward. Longboard did enough. Neil Ardley will take the corner kick for Wimbledon, whose lead has looked a little more tenuous in the second half. Towards the head of Robbie Earl. Babayaro jumped in front of it. Hughes has reclaimed it for Wimbledon. This is Ardley. Earl's there again. Longboard emerges with the ball. Ewell in pursuit of it. Vialli is down the left-hand side. Nicely delivered by Bernard Longboard. And nicely tackled by Dean Blackwell. Petrescu. Babayaro. Vialli. Oh, that's a great ball. This is Flo. And Sullivan was very quickly off his line. To smother the shot almost before Flo could get it away. Look at the touch here from Vialli. Lovely finesse and caress about that. And how on earth did he know Flo was there? Poyet, corner kick. One or two little moments have just triggered Chelsea here. The blue touch paper has been lit in their performance now. Their fans respond. Dennis Wise with the corner. Poyet for the flick. He is such a threat in front of goal, Gustavo Poyet. But it's not as if the Wimbledon threat in the game has gone away. Just that Chelsea are starting to create little moments like this now. Ethan Opoku is being readied. see him off. Wise. Yule got in a challenge. It's been a good spiky contest between those two. Jason Yule has never been far away from Dennis Wise. Ethan Koku will replace Carl Lieburn. Ethan Koku has been looking for a move from Wimbledon since the start of the season. Lieburn makes way. Winner against Arsenal as a substitute in Wimbledon's last home match. Ikoku's header away by Leboeuf, forward by Blackwell, away by Dubry, only as far as Yule. No flag here against Gale. Down he comes under pressure from Leboeuf, and that's a penalty. Rather rueful smile by Frank Leboeuf, but Marcus Gale got on the dangerous side of Leboeuf then, and he just put his arm across him and hauled him down. Tangle on the edge of the box. Yellow card from Leboeuf in the bargain. What a chance now for Michael Hughes. 15 minutes left. Wimbledon lead by 2 goals to 0. Inside to the semi-finals. Hughes' rocket penalty. And a little wink which says that they have some breathing space now. And in the face of a spirited comeback from Chelsea in this second half, Wimbledon have doubled their money and are close to progressing. Di Matteo, Petrescu, oh, that's a tiny little cross from Kenny Kenningham facing his goal. Nightmare for a defender, just managed to miss his goal. That's about as good as he could do. Needs to get a bit of action in his neck muscles and lever the ball clear of danger for now. Dennis Wise with the corner though. Berth was hauled to the ground on the edge of the box there by Thatcher, but was unseen. Joe Kinnear took over from Peter Witt nearly 7 years ago, ironically after a home defeat by Chelsea had ended with fairly short reign. Kinnear was promoted then from reserve team coach, and he and Sam Hammam have engineered a quite unique revolution. Leboeuf. Way by Perry for the umpteenth time, finds Hughes. Cunningham offering him something on the outside. Hughes instead going down the middle towards Yule. His run was to no avail. This is Ferrer. Di Matteo. Flipped in towards Vialli. Lowe will chase. Managed to hold off Thatcher. It's Tora Andre Flo. It's in. It's Vialli again. And Chelsea are still alive. A little over 4 minutes remaining. Gianluca Vialli's 6th goal of this Worthington Cup campaign. Slid in delightfully the near post after good work by Tora Andre Flo. Has handed Chelsea some kind of a lifeline. The holders still have a couple of fingers on the trophy. Vialli, 3 against Villa, 2 against Arsenal, 1 tonight. Chelsea still need another from somewhere. Lombard. In towards Vialli again, managed to make contact. Flo hardly did. It might still come for him. Oh, they got in each other's way. It's still Flo. Charged down by Ardley, cleared by Hughes. Here goes Gale against LeBeuf again, ironically, and he pushed him clearly in the back. Decision goes back to Birchway this time. Joe Kinnear entitled to look a little anxious. In towards Petrescu, goalkeeper committed it, he got it right, but only just. There was a brief moment when it looked as if Petrescu was going to pick the pass off. Sullivan away though, relieved man. Di Matteo trying somehow to provide a springboard for one last Chelsea attack. Longboard will do that, encouraging LeBeuf to go forward. Into space now for Ferrer. It's Ferrer! Well, there were so many waiting for a cross and everybody backed off. I think he was right to go and have a shot, but it was an anxious shot. He snatched at it. And that was probably the last shot for Chelsea. Albert Ferrer's first taste of English Cup football, and it may be coming to an end here. Chelsea, who've been just about unstoppable in Cup football. But Pereira's lost out and Nkoko's going through, and Ferrer miraculously recovered. Chelsea haven't recovered, they are out. The holders have been beaten by Wimbledon, beaten for the first time since the opening day of the season there. Record equalling unbeaten run, ended by Earl in the first half and by Hughes' penalty in the second. Sam Hammam is smiling again, another famous scout for Wimbledon, semi-finalists for the second time in 3 years. How they would love to go on and play European football. Chelsea, with enough on their plate maybe in the Premiership, have lost their grip on the Football League's Cup competition, out of the Worthington Cup tonight, to, yes, you've guessed it, Hammam, Kinnear and Wimbledon. They've done it again. Winners by 2 goals to 1 tonight.
First of all, I would like to say that Wimbledon played very well. Secondly, I think that our performance, especially in the first half, was quite poor. We played much better in the second half, but probably the damage had been done in the first half.
Well, you saw it for all it was worth tonight, wasn't it? It was magnificent defending, and they really asked a question as the game progressed, and they put us under an awful lot of amount of pressure. And we've had to soak it up and defend gallantly.
We always work hard defensively as a team, and we kept them quiet. So until the last 10 minutes, I wouldn't say we were cruising, but we were comfortable.
And now 1 game away, 1 round away from a final, and 2 games away from Europe, possibly.
Yeah, that's right. It would be nice. It'd be a great thing for this club to get into Europe, and you know, it's 2 games away. We've got a good chance, but you know, we've got to keep working hard. And there's no point in getting carried away with it until we do it. Touch wood.
Well, who knows? You know, the Super Dons in Europe would be fantastic, but we're going to have a tough game against whoever gets through. But they'll know they're in the game over 2 legs. We fancy ourselves, and hopefully the Twin Towers are waiting for us.
Everybody wants to see, you know, not just the glamour boys win everything. It'd be nice for the unsung heroes, so to speak, for them to win something. And if we did that, we'd probably give everybody else a lift. But, you know, I've got this will be my 3rd semi-final now in 3 years, so one would hope that 3rd time's lucky.
Is there finally a genuine belief amongst you and the players that you can win the championship this season?
It brings bad luck to talk about that. I would say let's try to win all the matches. Let's try to do our best in all the matches, and then at the end of the season we will see what we are capable of. And
but you're good enough too, you think?
Yeah, I think we've got a great team. I've got a great squad, very professional players. So at the end of the day, we just want to do our best, and then if somebody is better than us, head off, and they will win the Premier League. At the moment, it's still a long and winding road, and there's nothing else that we can do apart from our best.
Trevor Harris asking the questions there, Gianluca Vialli. Typical in defeat, a very gracious attitude from him, but no question tonight those Dons deserved it, Harry.
Yeah, they were tremendous, Jim. They're so difficult to play against, and the spirit and the effort and the skill and the set pieces, and they're just a very, very good side.
Yeah, as Clive said in his commentary there, you know what's coming, but like the first goal that Robbie Earle headed in, it's very, very hard to defend against.
Yeah, how many times have you seen that? You know, Robbie's made a little run, they get across people on crosses. Poor defending, but if you watch the 4 or 5 runners coming, everybody's looking to get across a defender, and he's done it great, and he's scored so many goals from them types of situations over the years, Robbie Earle.
It's a very simple tactic, but Chelsea, for all their millions and all their experienced defenders, they just couldn't cope with that ball upstairs tonight.
That's always the problem. As you say, you know where it's coming, you know what to expect, but it's dealing with it is a different kettle of fish. I mean, we were 3-0 up against them at home at Upton Park this year and got beat 4-3.
I wasn't going to remind you of that one.
No, we got battered, and they really put us under pressure in the second half, and we couldn't cope with it. It was difficult to play against.
It was another ball upstairs that Frank Leboeuf couldn't handle. Really, led to the penalty yet. Yeah,
it was a ball headed back, and Gal's the other side of Frank Leboeuf, who I think is a tremendous player.
Certain penalty?
Yeah, I think, Marcus Gal gives him a little nudge first of all, but then he gets his arm over him and he does pull him down. And
Hughes batters this one in.
Yeah, Michael sticks it away great. Michael's got a great left foot, Michael Hughes, and he really buries it and gives the keeper no chance at all.
I felt that Chelsea played their best football late on. And Gianluca Vialli now the top scorer in the Worthington with his 6th goal. Great work though from Flo here.
Yeah, Flo comes on at half time and I think he's an exceptional player. He does well. He knocks Thatcher off the ball there, and Vialli gets across his marker. Vialli's got so much enthusiasm, so much ability as well. He's running off the ball. I think he's up there, him and Ian Wright, for me, the best front two in the game when it comes to movement off the ball. And his enthusiasm, he picks the ball out the goal. He's running back to the halfway line, looking at the clock. He's a tremendous player.
One thing that sums up the Dons in a cup tie, they give maximum effort all the time, and they were putting it in right to the end here. We picked out a bit of Jason Newell. Yeah,
I mean, Jason Newell's played in midfield tonight. He's a tremendous young player, who is a front man really, but Joe's played him in the middle of the park tonight. He's battled away for every ball. He's fought Dennis Wise all night. He's gone in for a tackle there and really had no right to win. Ends up getting the free kick and taking the pressure off.
Virtually the last kick here, Ferrer, the Spaniard. Doesn't get many goals in his career, you can see why.
Frank Leboeuf breaks, shoves him in. Really, he's got to hit the far post. If he hits the far corner of the goal, there's a chance it comes off somebody's legs and goes in the goal anyway, but he's chose completely the wrong option and took all the pressure off of Wimbledon. A great result for Joe Kinnear and a great result for Wimbledon.
OK, Harry, thank you very much indeed. Well, still...
Opening leg of the semi-finals in the Worthington Cup. A huge crowd with high expectations. Their pride and joy, Tottenham Hotspur against Wimbledon. And it was the visitors who dominated position and possession early.
Ian Walker took no chances either when Jason Newell had a little rangefinder.
But being able to convert breaks into points would prove near impossible for both sides. Surprisingly, the game was expansive. The attacking players provided with plenty of half chances, yet the net wasn't ever in danger.
Now Anderson has space and has certainly got pace and the ability to cross. It fell to Nielsen. Big challenge on the edge of the box from little Chris Perry.
0-0 the score for the first 40 minutes of the clash. The best opportunity came just before the break. Neil Ardley with the free.
Not a bad-looking one. Walker came out, helped his defenders out.
While Wimbledon would have been reasonably happy with the first half stalemate, the home side would not have shared their joy. They came out in the second desperate for an early goal.
Now, will he come and pick this up? Well, Dean Blackwell was looking to him. There's a furious argument going on now between defender and goalkeeper.
The match swung from end to end for its entirety. Michael Hughes close on several occasions for the visitors. In fact, he was the only Wimbledon player that showed any real flair, but even he couldn't find the net.
Might be a chance for Wimbledon to exploit it. Hughes strikes! Took a deflection off Carr and was going wide.
Frenchman David Ginola hobbled from the field with a hamstring tear, yet his fans continued to spur on Tottenham, who came painstakingly close late.
Neil Sullivan saved by his post, and I tell you, he was beaten all ends up.
But that's the way it would stay, 0-0. Now preparations begin for the second leg next week.
Of the FA Cup, the gravitas of the Premiership, but only here tonight is Wembley immediately at hand. Europe just one further win away. No wonder then that Wimbledon want to fling so many eggs into this basket. In the 8 days since their untypical shrinking violet display at Charlton, they've been rebonding on a hotel mini-break and in several cases recovering on the treatment table. Back in midfield, Robbie Earle and Michael Hughes. Back up front, Marcus Gale and Efan Okoku. It's been a busy medical room, but no one is missing, nor is Wimbledon's legendary togetherness. No rest for this lot, no adverse reaction either though from Saturday's trip to Leeds. Cup-tied Tim Sherwood drops out of the FA Cup 11. Alan Nielsen, who scored twice in that competition against Wimbledon, comes in. Ramon Vega is preferred at centre-back to Luke Young. Les Ferdinand starts a League Cup tie for the first time this season. The referee is Gary Willard, who's awarded a penalty against Wimbledon on both his previous engagements at Selhurst Park this season. Come over to hit a left-footed dink towards the near post. Vega got up. His hands are full, the Swiss international.
It's a big responsibility. And I mean, Spurs themselves have got some big guys, haven't they? You look at Campbell, Ferdinand, Vega, and they'll need to.
Gale and Okoku hunting impacts at the near post. Earl near the penalty spot. Thatcher making a run. Hughes again. There was Perry who... Chance for Earl. Could still come back to Hughes, away by Anderton. And produce a really fine save.
That is a good save. I think Ferdinand should have done better. I mean, the ball's up there, a lot of slowness on it. Ball's kept in the box by Everson. Oh, it's a good shot and a good save.
Anderton's corner. Out by Cunningham. Nielsen's battling hard for the course. So is Anderton. And now Ginola. Freud's made the run. Ginola has it back. And still David Ginola. Ferdinand. And Roberts anywhere will do.
Well, that's the sort of courage, you know, when you talk about courage, people sort of associate with people flying in and making breakneck tackles and everything.
Further clear by Nielsen. Ginola sliding in and winning it for Ferdinand. Comes to Anderton. Cunningham got it back for Hughes.
Pitch beat Michael Hughes there, didn't it? Got caught in a little divot when he thought he was clear, but Gale's going at it now.
Gale. Okoku. Flag stayed down. Carr. Ferdinand.
There's going to be a big talking point on this, that the Wimbledon defence are convinced Everson was offside. They actually stood and allowed him just a little split second to help it on. But linesman, banging line, didn't give anything.
Well, whatever the load of controversy, the finish, he was offside, but the finish was heavenly.
Brilliant finish, but oh my, oh my. I mean, sometimes it's very difficult for a linesman to see split seconds, but I think he should have caught that one. Full marks, Everson, great finish, left the keeper nowhere.
Offside. Absolutely terrific goal in the FA Cup.
You have to say the pitch has given that one a little lift there, but that's a good surge by Thatcher. And it's just stood up a little bit, but that's still a good chance.
Such a good pro. It's come and done so good effect. Everson, Sinton. Roberts clear. Gale. Kennedy. Thatcher steaming up in support alongside. And Kennedy straight at Anderson.
Yeah, he had the ball set up to cross it. Well turned in, and perhaps the situation, or perhaps it hasn't lost
Gale.
momentum.
Oh, Gale! Oh! Beautifully worked and very, very close. Gale. Campbell again. Too far for Marcus Gale. Cunningham. Oh, you feel for him. You feel for him.
Oh. I mean, that's a but scrambled out by Sinton. Robiol, who's missed possibly the best chance of the game for Wimbledon, latches onto it and scrapes the top of the bar.
It's Tottenham Hotspur's night. The old devil is at it again, just as he did in the beginning with Arsenal 12 long years ago. George Graham is taking new charges straight to the League Cup final. The fans are flowing on to celebrate an appearance at Wembley for the first time in 8 years. Ramon Vega with the broad Swiss smile, and Joe Kinnear, whose heart was once a Tottenham heart, now has a broken Wimbledon heart. For the first time in 8 years, they can sing with authenticity down the Seven Sisters Road that Spurs really are on their way to Wembley. Stefan Everson scored their sumptuous first half goal in the second leg of a semi-final, which finished on aggregate Wimbledon 0, Tottenham Hotspur 1.
And had Jason Ewell and Carl Lieburn up front. Tottenham made 3 changes. Darren Anderton, Rolf Fox and Ramon Vega were back. Les Ferdinand had to be content with a place on the bench. The commentator is John Champion.
Thatcher's ball, on by Earl, and here's Jason Ewell. Ewell again, off the angle of post and bar. A very early warning to Tottenham of what Wimbledon are capable of. The flick from Earl set up the chance. Walker's first save was notable, and then he was rather helpless as Ewell followed up second time around. Here's Ginola. Hardly very tight to him to start with. He's away from the winger. Now what about the full-back and the cross for Anderton? And now Rolf Fox, and Thatcher made the block. Somehow scrambled clear. Wimbledon will come again with Roberts. Vega. It was Lieburn who caused consternation at the near post from the corner. Earl is still forward. That came off Campbell's head. And that looked like a foul by Andy Roberts. Lieburn was tangling with Vega. Actually may have come off Everson. And it was Steve Carr who stretched from his station on the back post. Nice footwork by Ewell. He then lost the ball, but Roberts will regather it for Wimbledon. And the cross is too long for Earl, but here's Ewell, and there was Fox to clear at the expense of a corner. Ginola. 5 in the box for Wimbledon. Hartley's kick. And now the break is on. It's 2 against 2. Everson, and on the far side Ginola against Cunningham and Blackwell. And Armstrong's arrived as well. This is Chris Armstrong. It's a wonderful save by Sullivan. Still in play. Ginola was kept in by the scampering Everson. Ginola twisting and turning, and ultimately a move that so nearly brought a breakaway goal comes to nothing. It was struck well enough by... There's Lieburn, and the overhead is in, and it's Robbie Earl. 4 days short of his 34th birthday, Wimbledon's captain strikes to put them in front in this second part of an ongoing saga. Campbell got in half a challenge, but when it was drifted in, Lieburn used his height well, and then the dexterity of the 30-something Earl made a half chance into a goal. He equals the Wimbledon club record with his 6th goal against Spurs. Ginola. Oh, there's Armstrong. Very nearly. An immediate reply from Tottenham, having gone behind. There was a Crossed the goalkeeper, but not beyond him. Lieber, it's not his strong suit. First time volleyed layoff. Fox. Ginola thought about a shot. Decided on a pass to Iversen. And there's Armstrong! He may have hurt himself in the process. Armstrong. As Tottenham threatened once again. He was just half caught. Ginola. Carr. Ginola for a second time. Faced initially by Earl. Might want to try a shot, which he does! Oh, yes, yes, yes. Whatever you say about him, the man is undoubtedly a star. He leads the acclaim for his own goal. Just a question of whether he could get the shot in. Unerringly into the corner. Out as a quartet of matches between these two sides in the space of a month is now extended to become a quintet. Robbie-Earl with a spectacular overhead put Wimbledon in front on the hour mark, but then a piece of Ginola magic, that curling right-footed shot, levelled matters for Tottenham Hotspur. Wimbledon 1, Tottenham.
First half, second minute. Andy Sinton with the ball going down the left side. Watch the move. Nice cut inside, and then nice shot as well. Into the top right-hand corner. It was 1-0. That was Sinton's first goal in the Premier League. Teammates celebrating with him. Then Tottenham on the attack. Same replay here. Wimbledon very lackluster. One eye on their semi-final Worthington Cup match in 2 weeks against Spurs, and they did not have the fire. Here's more evidence. Chris Perry of Wimbledon tries to clear. Oh! Bad news. Les Ferdinand took it, gave it to Alan Nielsen, who gave it to the net. Watch Perry again of Wimbledon. This is terrible defense. And Ferdinand took full advantage. Nielsen in perfect position. Nothing Neil Sullivan could do. Easy score, and it's 2-0 Tottenham. Then on the attack again later. Jason Ewell attempting to clear the ball here, but unbelievable. A freak rebound off of Alan Nielsen's knee, and it got right past Sullivan. Check it again. Nielsen just coming in. Gets credit for the goal. It was 3-0 at that point, and Tottenham was on the way to the win over Wimbledon. The final score, 3-0. So Tottenham